How long do former colonial countries have to be punished for then? How long do we have to have our identity erased for? Is there any end limit to it in your eyes, or is it only at the point of complete negation? And finally, why is it that it's only European former colonialist countries? One of the largest and most significant and longest colonial powers in history was the Turkish Empire. Do we do this to Turkey? Do we say to Turkey, you must have your identity erased as well as punishment for the past? Almost every single people in the world at some point has done something historically they could be punished for. But why, I wonder, is it that it is Europeans that we are always being heard, being offered that choice?
Hello everyone, I greet you in the name of God Almighty. My name is Apostle Nitin Silas, and today we have a very interesting video to react to. And this one says that Douglas Murray dismantled entire group of Muslim activists on colonialism. Wow, I believe that is going to be a very interesting one. Let's listen to their submission and then see their thought and what they have to say on colonialism. So without any further ado, let's get down to this video and check this out.
I'd like to ask you a question. How long do former colonial countries have to be punished for then? How long do we have to have our identity erased for? Is there any end limit to it in your eyes, or is it only at the point of complete negation? And finally, why is it that it's only European former colonialist countries? One of the largest and most significant and longest colonial powers in history was the Turkish Empire.
You are about to see Douglas Murray completely demolish a group of Muslim students who challenged him during a recent debate. Douglas Murray recently addresses a poignant issue about European identity and the effects of immigration, challenging the notion that European nations must indefinitely atone for colonial pasts by erasing their own cultural identities. Douglas Murray did not hold back.
Hello, my name is George Fotopoulos. I would like to make a point to Mr. Murray. The last point you made in favor of the motion was that the people of Europe have the right to protect their identity and that their politicians should respect that right. And I would like to ask you why you feel that the presence of 1 or 2 or 1,000 people with a different identity within a society threatens the identity of the people who were in the society originally. Whether you believe that is a legitimate concern or a primal fear, and whether you agree that when a primal fear drives a crowd, they become a mob, and that a politician should follow a mob and not provide leadership by calming the mob down and giving them a reason. That is my question.
Thank you. And towards the back.
Hello, my name is Eli Liu. I was a student in University of Piraeus International European Studies, and I won't be very quick, but I am against the motion, and I would like to say that the European Union was an ex-colonial power, so most of the countries of the Third World were exploited from us. So now we cannot say that we don't accept them, because most of their riches and their wealth were taken from us. And as for what Mr. Voridis said about our values as Europeans, it's the globalization that takes
Just repeat that sentence, will you, please? You stopped in the middle.
Yes, our values. Mr. Voridis talked about our values as European citizens, as humans. Well, I think globalization takes them from us and not immigrants. And about the shadow economy, it's the fault of the state control that doesn't eliminate it. And
right, okay, that'll do for the moment. I think there are a lot of points to pick up, particularly your challenges here to those speaking for the motion. But I want to hear voices as well who are against the motion and would like to challenge those sitting on my left. But let's first of all get those points picked up. Douglas Murray, your response particularly to that challenge to you.
Very quickly. First of all, if I were Hassan in Syria,
I would hope, among other things, that I would help to rebuild my country after the Assad dynasty had wrecked it so completely. I'd hope that I would stay and help to rebuild the country after the devastation caused by that family. Secondly, the gentleman here who said one or two people, the gentleman here said, why are you threatened by one or two people? I'm not threatened by one or two people. Nobody is threatened by one or two people. The figures I gave you showed we're not talking about one or two people. The figure I gave you at the very beginning was that people who identify as white British citizens are now a minority in their capital cities. So we're not talking about one or two people, and it is very disingenuous to pretend that I was. Thirdly, the lady at the back, you say colonialism. I'd like to return the question to you. I don't deny the crimes of colonialism, not for a moment. I'd like to ask you a question. How long do former colonial countries have to be punished for then? How long do we have to have our identity erased for? Is there any end limit to it in your eyes, or is it only at the point of complete negation? And finally, why is it that it's only European former colonialist countries? One of the largest and most significant and longest colonial powers in history was the Turkish Empire. Do we do this to Turkey? Do we say to Turkey, you must have your identity erased as well as punishment for the past? Almost every single people in the world at some point has done something historically they could be punished for. But why, I wonder, is it that it is Europeans that we are always being heard, being offered that choice?
Douglas Murray, thank you. Before we go to Makis Foridis,
that's a very interesting video, listening to the question that the young lady, in a sense, asks also together with the man, both based on colonialism. Now, when you look at, in a sense, colonialism have done so much, in a sense, harm to Africa. And most of these African, in a sense, countries that we are being colonized by the European, maybe probably in exception of Ethiopia, you realize that they say, or we say, that we have gained independence from the Europeans. Papers may say that we have gained independence, but in reality, we have still not, understand, gained independence. Because the reason why I say that, in a sense, some of us, in a sense, have not yet, in a sense, gained independence is that probably I could say Nigeria, or let me use Ghana for an instance. Ghana could go to World Bank or go to IMF and tell them that we need to source $1 billion for the development of our country, and then probably they could discuss, understand, the interest rate in which, understand, such loans, understand, could be given to them. And then at some point, IMF could decide to say that, well, you have to accept, you understand, homosexuals in your own society, even though knowing fully well that this is against, you understand, African culture. But then for us to give you this loan, you have to accept, you understand, some of our offers. And then at some point, some of them accept, some of them will not accept. Now, you says that, you understand, these people, you gain independence, you understand, from you, and then you are treating them like this. How did you expect them, you understand, to develop? You can look at, understand, Niger, for instance. You can look at Burkina Faso. You can look at Benin. You can look at Congo and the rest of it. These countries, in a sense, have gotten, in a sense, independence. But why is France still printing their money? Why is France still deciding, in a sense, their exchange rate? How did you expect such countries, in a sense, to develop? Those are some of the things. Now, you could look at, in a sense, Niger. I like using Niger. You could look at Niger, for instance. Over 50% of the uranium that France used, in a sense, for their nuclear plant is from Niger. What about Niger? Have you looked at the social amenities, in a sense, in Niger? Have they really gained independence? You could look at, in a sense, Nigeria, for instance. Nigeria have went to the west, both the US, both the UK, and then tried to even buy ammunition in order for them to fight terrorism, right, in the north and then the eastern part of the country. But then at the end of the day, what happened? Yeah, those ammunition sold to them. Was the money paid? Was it returned to them? No. Why? Because of why they are still being colonized, you understand, by the Europeans. These are the reality, these are facts. So that's the reason why, you understand, Douglas is saying that, so how do we fix this problem? Okay, fine. We can fix it this way, that one, the Europeans have to accept the fact that this is what they have done. It means that they have to acknowledge that, yes, this is the harm we have truly done to these people. I know that maybe the current generation may not be directly, you understand, linked to it, but of course, our forefathers or so many people of them have done it already, you understand, to Africa. So first, show acknowledgement, you understand, to it, send repatriation to those respective, you understand, countries, develop, you understand, those countries with some of the resources that you are taking from their nation to Europe, right? You can send some, you understand, back, develop those, and then apologize. I think that this can go a long way, because of the kind of atrocities that the European, you understand, do to Africa is worst. Because why? They brought religion to us, right? You take our resources, you do a lot to us, bring a lot of harm to us. Well, India own might be different, because India did not accept your language, they did not accept your religion, they did not accept your way of life, right? They try to live, even though they accept you, but then they have their own way of life. But then our own was being forced, and then there's always a condition to everything, you understand, we are doing. So that's why, you understand, I am saying that we are still, you understand, under the colonization of the Europeans. This is just, you understand, reality of it. So all I could say is that they should just apologize, and they should just pay back, you understand, monies back to those respective, you understand, countries in which, you understand, they have taken, those countries in which, you understand, they have taken some of their resources. They should develop those nations. They should, you understand, rebuild, you understand, those nations. Acknowledge that this is what, you understand, they have done, and then come with true business, right? Let's have, you understand, a good business, and then you could see how Africa will develop more than how some of you may be thinking. Well, I believe that, well, this video was talking about based on the, but then I could look at this, you understand, on a general, you understand, basis. So I know that a lot of you have thought an opinion, you understand, concerning this, and I wanted to drop it at the comment section, and may God bless you as you do so. So this is the end of my video. If you like my reaction, you should like, share, and subscribe. If you have any video you want me to react to, don't forget to drop it at the comment section, and I'm going to check it out. So you remain blessed, and I see you in my next video. Bye bye.